ifconfig list, we see that it's set up for 2 through 5. And if we connect to the remote system, the 100 box, let's find a free shell here to be able to connect to it. We'll Control-Shift-T to open a new one. Then SSH to 168.75.100. And since it's a SUSE box, we'll RC DHCPD stop. This will stop the instance. And then we'll be able to start our instance locally. Let's go ahead locally and find a root shell. We'll execute service DHCPD start. And on the remote system, it's simply RC DHCPD stop. And to set it up when the system boots is check config DHCPD on. This sets it up in 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's return to the shell. Start DHCPD locally, and barring no configuration errors, it should start as expected. And again, in var lib DHCP version, or for D for version 4, we'll find a leases file. This leases file will contain any leases issued, and we'll take a look at the less using the less command DHCPD leases, and in here we'll find entries for leases. Now supposing we don't want to alter the current configuration on the network, we can set up a reservation. For example, for this remote system, this 199 box, let's execute ifconfig. And it's not in our path, so we'll sbin ifconfig. We see that it has an address of 199. So our next task is to set a reservation. Set up DHCP reservation, which is a common task. And this requires the MAC address. So it requires the MAC address of the client. And it also requires that we indicate which IP address is to be reserved for the remote system. Remote system's MAC address is the hardware address returned using ifconfig. Take this address and build a reservation. So let's return to the shell to the config file on the local system. And there is a commented reservation section, and the host is called Linux CBT serve 4. This is just a descriptive name. The host name that's associated with it can be defined independently between the host blocks, or in between the host block. We need to at least uncomment hardware Ethernet address as well as fixed address, and then paste in the address, ensuring that the line terminates with a semicolon. The fixed address needs to be set to an address that the server is authorized to lease, 192.168.75.199, and the next dash server is unimportant. So we have a reservation that DHCP will honor. Whenever this MAC address comes in with the DORA request, it will be assigned this fixed address. We may optionally pass in options that are defined within the subnet block between the host block, such as a host name option, using option space host dash name space and in between quotes the name of the host.